Harmy, this may come as a surprise to you, but the 100 doesn't seem to be very big in Darwin. So I haven't managed to see very much of it. We'll talk about why I'm here a bit later on in the show. But I have seen some highlights, and obviously I've been watching the progress of the Oval Invincibles, who look, it's very early days. I mean, they've won two out of two, but they've won them extremely emphatically. And yeah, you wouldn't bet against them winning. A third straight title, and some pretty impressive performances. They obviously began with a convincing victory. London Spirit bowled out for 80. How do you get bowled out in? It's a 16.4 over competition, and teams are being bowled out and winning in the Oval Invincibles case in 57 balls. You know, if it's going to be 100 balls, then at least let's try and use them all. But some amazing bowling stats. Rashid Khan for the Invincibles in the opening game. You've got to get your head around these new analyses as well, haven't you? Rashid Khan's figures: 20 overs, 15 maidens, 15 dot balls, 20, 15, 3 for 11. I mean,
Hmm.
that's a good effort in any circumstances at top level cricket to bowl 15 dot balls out of 20.
It is. There's been one or two. Jofra had something similar. He had 14 dot balls, what, 2 days ago, I think. Again, I mean, I have been converted to somebody who not just embraces the tournament, think it's a good tournament, it's a good idea. We need an injection. We needed the cash. We needed the best playing against the best. But for Pete's sake, they've got to get it to T20. Nobody understands how to play the game. Halfway through the game the other day, I was watching, and they changed the graphics halfway through the game because they forgot to put up what the team had scored. I mean, it was counting down. If you're not a brain boxing mathematician, you've got no idea what the first inning scored compared to what the second inning scored. So as much as yes, you're trying to get a new audience, and you've still got to try and keep the audience you've got. True cricket fans, whether they love the 100 or they don't, and I must admit I'm getting better towards liking the 100. But even true cricket fans will watch it, but they're still, if you're not telling them exactly what's happening, they're going to switch off. You're going to give them more fuel and add to the fire that this competition has split and divided the whole country when it comes to the people who love it and the people who hate it. One thing I have seen, and they'll never get away from this, in the fact that if you just mentioned it there, I think there's been one close game in the men's game. So far, everybody's played each other twice, right? Everybody's played each other twice. So what's that? That's 14 games? 14 games so far. I've had one close game. The amount of games that have been won by 15 balls or more is telling me that they do not understand how to play it. I've been saying this consistently. I have been a knocker of the 100. I have tried to take the mickey out of it. I am trying to see for what it is. It's a fantastic tournament, which has made a lot of money for the game, which is the best players playing against the best players. That I have never, ever had a problem with. The problem I've had consistently is the format. And the format is people don't understand how to play it. When you're losing games by more than 15 balls in an innings when it lasts 100, then you're telling me the players don't know. I haven't got a clue how they're trying to play it. And you can bring anybody on to try and tell me I'm wrong, and I'll never ever win on this one until we start getting good close games. Then this competition is it's going to get laughed at from around the world. It might have made 550 million, but when the cricket is as one-sided as is, for me, it's just it's a laughing stock. It's quite a gimmick, and that needs to change because we are close to something really, really good. If this is a T20 competition, we have got one of the best competitions in world cricket at this minute in time because of the format we play. I mean, I'm sorry, it's just. I mean, it's lads having a month off in the middle of summer to have a laugh with their mates. For me, that shouldn't be the case because at the minute it's what it looks like. There's a lot of money being invested in this cricket. If I was an owner, I'd be disappointed at what I've bought into. What are the first 15 games of the tournament so far?
Couple of other individual performances to point out. Johnny Bairstow's scoring runs for Welsh Fire. It hasn't helped them. None from two. Um, uh, as you mentioned, Jofra Archer, 2 for 16. Runs for Harry Brook and Zach Crawley. I can't help wondering how they're feeling emotionally. It's still very, very close to the Test series, but you know, at least they're scoring runs. What the close game that you refer to? It's worth mentioning Southern Brave beating the
Mm.
Manchester Originals. Because my favourite thing, lower order runs. Yeah, how good to see 9, 10, and 11 getting the Southern Brave over the line. Craig Overton doing what Jamie was supposed to be doing
Yeah,
for England with 18 not out off 8 balls. Timal Mills and Reece Topley as well. Toppers with 4 from 1 ball to win. That was a cracker. That winning with a ball to spare. But as you say, it's the only close game.
it was, and you're right. You're 100% right. And I'm not sort of wanting to dig out Jamie Overton here or the selection, but we said a couple of times on air that have we picked the wrong Overton because Craig seems he's not got the pace that Jamie's got, but he seems to sort of turn up with a bat in the big occasion when he's playing in domestic cricket. Look, it's different in international cricket. Craig's a good cricketer, but again, it was a close game. It really was a good game of cricket. I was watching that, and it was a nail biter towards the end. But manners, when you've got 100 balls in one innings, it tells you that there's something wrong if number 11 is hitting the winning runs. It really does. I mean, it does. It tells you that the top order are not understanding. The proper players aren't understanding. So when I'm seeing Rashid Khan and figures from Jofra Archer and all these bowlers, nailing their skill sets. And we're seeing a game is close, which it is. And we've had games that have been lost by 20, or games that have been finished with 22 balls to spare, 18 balls to spare, 50 balls, nearly 50 balls to spare. We are coming down to the fact that 100-ball contest is won by a number 11. Tells you that the top order batters are not nailing their skills and not understanding how to, you know, win a game in 100 balls.
David Warner scored runs as well for London Spirit. They won their second game, 17 not out from 45 balls. And it's no surprise to me, Harmy, that the more intelligent sex have worked it out because the
Mm.
100 continues to be successful for the in the women's competition. And you know, I reckon they've figured it out. Anyway, reports in the Guardian suggesting that you mentioned the 550 million quid that the owners have spent. And it seems pretty obvious. And the Guardian obviously had some inside information, Ali Martin, or at least an inside tip off that the owners have said, we've spent all this money. We're either part owners or majority owners of the teams, and we want it to be T20. And I don't care whether you signed a broadcast deal with Sky that lasts for another couple of years. It's going to be T20 from next year. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, and I mean, hopefully common sense and hopefully Sky comes to the party as well because it's their competition. I mean, Sky have invested not only a lot of money but a lot of effort into trying making this competition, worthwhile, and they've done an amazing job. They really have. The A-list commentary team have been on there. They've had some big names on there. Sky have covered this game brilliantly. They really have, and they've invested a lot in the competition as well. So everything I've been saying, that's on Sky as well. So I think it's as much as there might be a broadcast deal in players, surely adults in a room, common sense prevails. Get this to T20 as quickly as we possibly can, even as quick as next year. And you know what? This tournament will thrive. It will grow like you'd not believe. Probably the second best in T20 competitions behind the IPL because it's in England. You've got the historical cricket grounds. It is in the middle of the English summer, which the Southern Hemisphere aren't playing cricket. But at this moment in time, people are looking at it and they're going, "What is it all about?" Once it's T20, I think I think the sky would be the limit for that competition, and surely Sky TV would want that as well as obviously the 100 owners.
You mentioned winning with 43 balls to spare. That was the Manchester Originals who managed to be bowled out for 128. And Will Jackson, Tawanda Moyeye, I'm still convinced that he will come good. He's
Mm.
more of a late developer than many people hope for. Will Jack 61 to Wanda Muyeye 59 not out from 28 balls, and so they're winning in 57 balls. I mean, honestly, if you nipped out to get a round of drinks, you could have missed that run chase.
Yeah, and then Jax has had a little bit of a, he went missing for a short while with the England stuff. So, and now he's back in the England squad. I'm sure he'll be involved in the cricket. That's at the back end of all of September. He's a good player. And I agree. I think the boy from Kent, Moe, he's a good player, but it seems to affect him when he's doing well. There's quite a lot of these cricketers who, when they're talked about, they seem to drop off a cliff. So they don't embrace being, spoken about in high regard. I think they like staying under the radar. And, once there's one or two that you get a couple of hundreds first week of the championship season, everybody talks about you having an outside chance of being mentioned for England. And then as soon as that word England's mentioned, they start scoring, that high scoring goes downhill. I think he's another one in that boat. But the more exposure he has with, the 100, the big occasion, the big stadiums, the better players, the more hopefully his temperament will shine through and be better once playing in a dressing room full of what is a massive characters of the likes of the Oval Invincibles.
I just want to mention that Muyaya is still only 24, but it was 6 years ago that he was announced as England's schoolboy cricketer of the year, and people were talking about, a very, very quick progression to higher honours. And so, I mean, he's still only 24, but, there was speculation that he'd be playing for England by the age of 21, which is very unfair and very unreasonable. I know that. And again, there's I'm very conscious that you and I are of an age, Harmy, that we may be slow to develop and adapt. But it's one thing attracting a new audience, and that it is undoubtedly done. It's an extremely family-friendly competition, isn't it? And there are lots and lots of young kids who are being introduced to the game, which is fantastic. I just think that the concentration on attracting a new audience has inadvertently, potentially alienated the old one, the existing one.
Yeah, 100% agree. And I was one of them at the start, not now. I'm on the sort of the new audience shirt tails to try and embrace what is this competition, because it is good for English cricket. But I think when you're trying to get that new audience, if you teach them the basics of what cricket is about, at the minute, we're not really teaching them. I don't think we're really teaching them what the basics is about. They don't understand the graphics because they keep changing them halfway through, like they have done. And the cricket is, I think they're just seeing colour. They're seeing excitement and they're seeing colour. I think the basics of the game, if they went back to a T20 competition, this new audience, I think, would love the rest of cricket. And I think that would be a bigger feather in the cap of the 100 if they can get to that point. Keep them, the marketing bandwagon going, keep the colour and the lights and the glitz and everything that goes with it, and then teach the new audience, what you want, which is closer to the real game. And then all of a sudden, when you come to the real game, you get a lot of that new audience transferring into the T20 competitions from an England point of view, from a crowd, the international, 50-over competition and the test match, that you want the new audience to hopefully embrace. At this minute in time, there's a lot of noise, there's a lot of colour, there's a lot of razzmatazz. But unfortunately, I think on the field, I think the cricket's suffering. And I think if they get a whole lot right, I mean, where could this be in 4 or 5 years' time? I think once it's become a traditional T20 competition with all the marketing tools that they've got to expose.